First of all, I'm really happy to be here. I'm Vicente Del Valle. I work in Puma North America, so I oversee US and Canada. But first, I want to start with thank you to Andrew and Nelly to make this possible. I don't know if you really know the people that is behind of all of this, but it's amazing what they do and to put this together and all the knowledge that we are sharing here. So I really appreciate that. And at the same time, I want to present myself and I want to present Bea, that Bea is my strategy partner. So Bea helped me to develop a strategy, to drive audit, to understand like where we need to adjust and optimize. So she works for an agency that is AdBirds, and we have a relation that has been for the last like 4 years. So a lot of knowledge and content passing through our meetings. So I want to start with a video just to wake you up, and then we will go with the presentation.
For over 75 years, we've witnessed moments that will last forever. From the heroes we admire to the joy of watching them play. Celebrating 75 years of changing the game. Puma, forever faster.
So I just wanted to start with that video to show that we are a brand that is over 75 years. So we have millions of stories and moments that have happened, ambassadors and things to tell. So with my team overseas retention marketing, we manage the CRM system, we manage the own channels of communication to keep them and retain. So I want to share a little bit with you without like getting too much in detail how we see this from the data standpoint. And hopefully you can take some takeaways that will apply to you. So how we share this moment and with who we share is something that starts all with data. And yeah, as I say, we are going to go from the data standpoint. So first, to get all in the same page, I try to bring a simple ecosystem here where we like are pretty familiar. So we have like the website, then we have the database, then we have brand marketing doing the awareness, big campaigns out there. Then we have performance marketing driving the conversions to the site. And then we also have SEO, that is the regular optimization, and not getting too much details. We have the CRM side of you can hear me now. In the
Is this one, sorry, man?
no worries. So in the I don't know. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, cool. So in the CRM side, just to, again, put all in the same page, we will not go so deep, but we will talk that we have automations, that is the customer triggers. So when you go in the website, you sign up, abandoned cart, win back, and so on. Then we have the channels, that is, in our case, like email marketing, the automation itself, all the transactional emails, when you make an order, returns, and payments. And then we also have the mobile engagement, that is our app, and where the app live, and also we've come with new channels into the ecosystem. And then we also have CRM audience that we pull up from our CRM, and we're able to retarget them or look for prospecting in the performance marketing side, or look for new audience in the branding side. So we complement each other, and also what I'm trying to put here, the point is that, again, it's all about data, and this is data that's passing through those big branding campaigns when they go down into the funnel, when people opt in, they get into like, I want to know more, they get into the database, and then we can like move them around the different life cycles. So in that page, let's talk a little bit about those channels and how you can see it like easily. So we have email marketing, and this is the same as most of the companies. We didn't start with this full setup to just start running it and start like proactively, like, example, we first with email, then we integrate the automations, then we launch the app and come with the different channels, then we SMS. So it's a process, and companies as big as us is still a process, and it's still something that we need to look at and how to integrate. In the app side, just to make reference, we have like different channels, and it's push, in-app, inbox, and notification banner. And then, as I say, the transactionals and automations. So let's talk about like how the data moves all of this in the backend. And I try to, bring this schema that I think is easy to digest and has like three main pillars. So the first one is data, the second one is knowledge, and the third one is execution, the channels where we push all of this content and how we communicate with our consumers. So let's go a little bit deeper without getting so deeper in this. But the data, where it's coming from. So we are able to capture data from our e-commerce and understand the web behavior and understand, for example, what consumers are browsing, what they are adding to a cart, where they are more likely to click, and where they are spending time in the website. So that's one point of data entry that we can use for our model. And obviously, this can be much more expanded, but this is like the regular basics. Obviously, then some companies like that manage e-commerce also have like an OMS, or order management system, where you can process all your orders, or there is valuable data that you can bring into the system to also like retarget and understand better where the customers are and the recency. Product data, if you are selling, you have your catalog, and that catalog has a lot of information like SKUs and then PDP information and so on. Contact is like how you will identify these users around all the ecosystem, so which is going to be that identifier, and then custom fields. So custom fields can be like any of the system that you're using in your company that has relevant information, you can bring it to a system. So let's say you have like customer service, you are using another platform, and you don't want to communicate if someone is in a case with customer service and is complaining, and you are trying to put more or sell something in front of them. So in that case, you can bring data to understand, and then you have the full view of that customer. So that's one case, but you can complement with million data entries. And then if we go to the knowledge, and I try to explain it super easy here, we have like engagement, life cycles, returns, the behavior, the spend, AOV, the affinity, and then the loyal status. If we can take this to a simple example, I will say that is the ERFM model. Bea talk a little bit about this, but we will go a little bit in detail. So ERFM is like the new RFM model that is mixing with engagement. So it's engagement, recency, and frequency. And mainly what this means is the engagement comes from all the clicks where the users are generating and how they open and how they interact with the different campaigns. Not only email marketing, also if they're interacting with an SMS, if they're interacting with the app, with a push, an in-app, and so on. And at the same time, you are able to link different things here to track them. So if you are a user and you are going here and you are clicking in sports, we know that you have more affinity in sports, so maybe that is going to be like how we are going to start treating you on the way. So I will say it's a combination on open clicks and then link tracking. And then in the recency, frequency, and monetary, it's important to understand like new leads, for example. What means new leads for you? When is someone a new lead? When become an active lead? When become a cold lead? When become an inactive lead? And they will stop being a lead when they become a customer, so when they purge. And then also you have different status and understand like the different status of the customers. These are just numbers for reference, but at the end, these need to be adjusted for each of the business, because each of the business is different and the purchase behavior is different. And then you can define like monetary like tiers where you can understand, hey, this customer is a lead, okay, this is a customer, okay, how much is spending and where it is. So it's a mix between like how they engage, how they purchase from your brand. And with this, it's much more easy to have something like an example like this, that is much more easy to say like, hey, where my customers are. So I have people that is more engaged, but maybe they are not customers. They are still a lead, they are browsing around, they are looking. Or maybe I have customers that they were engaged or now they are inactive. So here you can make like easy and look for opportunities for the business and make actions against them. Again, Puma is a brand that has different categories, different collections, different tiers. So at the end, we cannot treat all in the same way. And this is a good way to start defining, hey, I have different levels. And what about to treat them? So if we take this into segmentation without getting too much into details, we can start defining, understand the categories, understand the level of engagement, and understand how we want to communicate to them. And this is something that is, at the end, when you manage like all these categories and all these collections, you need to have like certain structure, because at the same time, you need to see how it performs to go back to optimize them. So it's important to follow like a process here. Then in the execution side, going back to a chart, at the end is the channels. It's how we push that data and the message and the right content and all of that. And then I just wanted to make a double click in digital ads, because I think this is a good takeaway for you. And it's like, hey, of all this data that you have and the knowledge you have and the behavior, how you can take it to the other like accounts, for example, performance like Facebook and Google, to use them to continue growing your pool and to continue looking lookalike audiences to continue complementing your audience. And obviously look for more opt-ins. And I just wanted to put it here in the final to summarize, but that's what we just review. And then, without again getting too much in details, but having the data structure will help you to understand automations and when you should touch base with them, which are the rules you need to apply, and when it's more important to them to receive a win-back automation or receive a promo communication or get a new collection super important in front of them. So going into that, this is from Bea, so I steal it from Bea, but it's a simple example of automations on the cycle. We just put some of them that we have just to show like reference, but there is more automations. But in this way, you can also define like where they are like the acquisition phase, what's the time frame they are, is 60 days, is 90 days, they are lead, they are customers, and then you need to understand how you like go in front of them with like personalized content, dynamic content, and relevance, so they can reactive or purge or come back or whatever is the action. So this is more just like to say like, hey, from the data you can actually like adjust all the setup, but you actually need to have a modeling to understand where people is. And then I just put this example to say like, into the automation, you're gonna start playing with the rules and start saying like, hey, okay, lifestyle, I have this type of consumers, I have like this type of leads. For leads, I will present this content. For consumers that already purge or repurge, and so on. So just example of a not simple automation, but a robust automation. And then obviously you can take this into the omni-channel. So when you start expanding into more channels, you're gonna start with the same rules, with the same data, like knowledge and insight. You're gonna start saying, okay, and how I'm gonna treat my consumers. Usually when brands has app is because the most loyalty customer is in the app. So maybe you wanna like put that in front of them before like putting an email in the inbox or before putting an SMS in the phone. So with the same data, you start adjusting the flow. And again, understanding the timings and based on the ERFN model. So saying that, we have two examples here, but just we don't need to get in details, just to understand and just to make the point that you can have the same consumer signing up, but they will have like totally different experience. Some of them will never purge, some of them will purge, some of them will purge and receive the abandoned card, some of them will go and become inactive. So at the end, it's important to understand the different flows that can happen with the same like trigger situation, I will say. And then at the same time, how you connect this as a channel, so you bring that back and you really like take them to the channel that they are interested to interact with. So saying that, I bring like 3 takeaways. They are really like generic, but the takeaways is more the modeling and the data. But at the end, what I want to say is much more easy, 5 times more easy to retain than to look for new customers. So it's important like have all this flow, all this knowledge and the movement and the understanding. And then like if you really like understand the different customers that you have, like we show in the opportunity dashboards, you can look for those opportunities and they are going to be more likely to interact with the actions because they are going to be more tailored. And at the end, the engagement of campaigns, I think like the exact targeting is what really catch the attention and of that consumer to bring it back. So thank you so much. Do you have any question for me? No questions?
Well, first, thank you for the presentation. That's very useful. And I could see your probably email is one of your main channels to communicate back with your users.
So I will not say it's the main, I will say it's the starter channel. So it's the one that most of the companies start, but then when you start complementing, really like the users start adapting for where they want to be.
Yeah, mobile app or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how important it is and how important is it for you to make sure that those emails get delivered? And I'm sure it's very important, but more also as well, how have you worked internally with your more technical teams to make sure that those that they can guarantee as much as possible the delivery of those emails?
Yeah, so there is a lot of things in that question, to be honest, because like one good example that we made is at the beginning we were sending all the emails image based, and we changed all the templates to HTML. So now they become responsive and they adapt to any format. By so on, we saw like better conversion and better open and better like clicks. I will say that also there are some functionalities that help to the delivery. For example, with the data you have, you can understand which is the best time for you to receive that email, then you are going to be more likely to open. So we also like use that type of functionality because we don't want to be like invasive. So yeah, I would say that's. I don't know if it answers your question.
It does. It does. Thank you.
Yeah.
You?
Thank you for the presentation. I'd like to ask, this is mainly for B2C customers, right?
This is based on Puma, so B2C customers, yeah.
But so you have the direct connection with your customers, or is it somehow transferred, I don't know how to say it, from the retailers that resell Puma brand?
No, so this is not external, but this is counting all our stores and all our outlets. So it's all retail from Puma, e-commerce and stores and outlets. But for example, it's not wholesale. And that's a bigger topic because like the data privacy and get the base, that's really become complicated.
Hello. How do you design the path with the like vendors? Are you going to the in-house solutions, or like do you work with like some vendors just like Braze or something like that?
Yeah, no, so what we are pushing is really to bring the knowledge in-house, to train the team to have the skills, and we also work with this agency that is out there, and there are like 16 members, so they have a lot of like different skills and support, so we try to manage all in-house, and also the optimizations of the automations, the segmentation, the content, dynamic content, all of that, we try to do it in-house.
Thanks, Vicente. Very nice presentation. My question to you, let me phrase that. How do you manage like the brand for the emails according to the global? Because as you said that you're taking the responsibility for US and Canada, and how is the exchange in between, let's say, the rest of the world, or in terms of strategies, content, and those kind of things? Like how is the like
the management.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some big campaigns obviously come with the alignment from the global team, and they're more easy to download. But anyway, all the campaigns are built by us. So if we need to localize and adapt, some of them have more rules than other ones. But for regular communication, it's all managed by internal. And then Puma, as a big company, has like a big pool of campaigns where we can like put up the package and understand the objectives and how we will push and how we will push in all the different channels. So we were based on that. But the big campaigns are aligned with the global team.
But then let's say there's a new global campaign. So then they send the content to you, and then you manage this, or they also have, let's say, the power to send the emails via...
All is managed locally. So if they need to send an email, for example, because it's a global initiative, they will partner up with us, and they will say like, hey, I want to meet this like time, I need to send this campaign, and so on, and then we support them. It's not that they don't have access, but they don't operate the platform for the markets, because it's a local team. Yeah. But there is a lot of global connection into a strategy and how we work together and like how we continue optimizing and so on.
Cool. Thank you.
For sure.